Welcome to the dashboard, your highlight reel of need-to-know DOT compliance updates, driver and transportation topics, hiring and onboarding tips, and background check best practices from the experts at Foley Services. Let's drive your business forward together. In Episode 2, we're providing an overview of requirements for the 2024 CVSA International Roadcheck to help you get your drivers and vehicles ready for the inspection blitz. What can you expect during this year's CVSA International Roadcheck? It's nearly time again for the Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance annual International Roadcheck. The 72-hour enforcement event is set to take place from Tuesday, May 14th through Thursday, May 16th, 2024. If you've been in business during a previous Roadcheck event, you know how it works. For 72 hours, inspectors across North America request commercial motor vehicles to pull over for on-the-spot inspections meant to ensure driver and truck safety. Each year, the CVSA highlights a particular focus. In 2023, it was anti-lock braking systems and cargo securement. In 2022, it was wheel ends. This year, inspectors will be on the lookout for controlled substance and alcohol possession, tractor protection, and anti-bleed back systems. Federal law forbids controlled substance and alcohol possession by commercial vehicle drivers. Despite this, there are currently over 158,000 prohibited drivers in the FMCSA clearinghouse. For inspections in the U.S., there is an additional emphasis on prohibited drivers within the FMCSA Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. What to expect during CVSA Roadcheck 2024? In order to pick which trucks will go through a complete inspection, the DMV's Commercial Vehicle Information Exchange window system identifies new rigs with companies that haven't gone through an inspection before, older companies that are overdue, and trucks working for carriers that have poor safety scores. Inspectors will be looking for any critical vehicle inspection item violations, including coupling devices, driveline and driveshaft components, steering mechanisms, exhaust and fuel systems, tires, wheels, windshield wipers, lighting systems, and driver's seats, and will place non-compliant vehicles out of service, meaning those trucks cannot be operated until the problematic conditions have been corrected. Those who successfully pass vehicle inspections will receive a CVSA decal to display on their trucks, which will be valid for 3 months. Generally, vehicles displaying a valid CVSA decal will not be subject to additional inspections for that period. Inspections will also closely analyze driver operating credentials and requirements, such as whether they have a valid CDL, an up-to-date medical certificate, or violations in the FMCSA Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. Inspectors will also be on the lookout for proper seatbelt usage, HOS documentation, and visual signs of fatigue or drug alcohol abuse or impairment. DOT medical certificate compliance is a must-have. For the past few years, some of the most common violations during roadside inspections have involved valid medical cards. Per federal law, all interstate drivers operating a vehicle weighing 10,001 pounds or more must have a current medical card. These generally must be updated every 2 years. Depending on a driver's health condition, updates are sometimes required more often, which can lead to lapses in renewals, resulting in violations. The best way to maintain compliance is to ensure that all medical cards are valid and that drivers with cards due to expire are scheduled for DOT physicals. Just as importantly, audit your driver files regularly to ensure you and each driver you employ has a valid medical card. You can easily manage this process with automated compliance software that tracks medcard expiration dates and any missing driver files. Be aware of potential CDL violations. Other all-too-common driver violations have to do with CDL licenses. For example, drivers have been caught operating with the wrong license class, with suspended, expired, or revoked CDLs, or with multiple CDLs. To identify drivers' CDL statuses, be sure to include a check of the Commercial Driver's License Information System as part of pre-employment screening. This will identify every state which a driver has held or holds a CDL. It's also important to keep track of CDL expiration dates with an automated driver file management system, such as Foley's software. Also, be sure to enroll all current drivers in an MVR monitoring program. This will provide immediate notifications of a license suspension or revocation, as well as DUIs, accidents, speeding tickets, or other moving violations. Get ahead of FMCSA clearinghouse compliance checks. Ahead of this year's road check, it's important to remember the CVSA has added FMCSA clearinghouse queries to their roadside inspection list for CDL and CLP drivers. If a driver is pulled over during Road Check 2024, inspectors will be looking to verify that the driver doesn't have any violations in the DOT clearinghouse that would prohibit them from operating a commercial motor vehicle. If a violation is found, the driver will be pulled from safety-sensitive functions immediately, and any cargo they're hauling will be stranded until a relief driver can be assigned to complete the run. Not to mention, you could be at risk of paying $5,833 per clearinghouse violation the inspector finds you committing. This can be a hefty fine for any company, much less a new entrant or small to medium-sized company. To prepare for potential FMCSA clearinghouse checks during this year's road check, you should run limited clearinghouse queries on your drivers to see if they have any violations in their records. If a limited query reveals there are any violations, you must run a full query within 24 hours. FMCSA clearinghouse compliance is easier when a third-party administrator manages your registration and query requirements for you. Foley's automated clearinghouse compliance software runs pre-employment, annual, and additional driver queries on your behalf to ensure any violations are caught before you're issued an out-of-service order during road check or a future random roadside inspection. 2023 International Roadcheck Recap. During the 2023 International Roadcheck last May, over 59,000 inspections were conducted throughout North America. Inspectors placed 11,070 CMVs and 3,056 CMV drivers out of service. The top vehicle out-of-service violations were as follows: brake systems with 4,412 instances, tires with 3,068 instances, defective service brakes with 2,468 instances, cargo securement with 2,171 instances, and lights with 2,015 instances. The top driver out-of-service violations were as follows: hours of service with 2,169 instances, false logs with 1,392 instances, other with 487 instances, canceled, revoked license with 416 instances, and no medical card with 241 instances. This data proves if your drivers are caught with faulty equipment or fail to meet compliance requirements during international road check inspections, they will be placed out of service, and you may be responsible for additional fines as a result. Get RoadCheck ready with Foley. Since RoadCheck 2024 is less than a month away, now is the time to prepare and ensure your vehicles and drivers are violation-free and operating compliantly. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Dashboard by Foley Services. Whether you need to streamline employee onboarding, meet DOT compliance requirements, or mitigate your company's risk level, Foley is your trusted partner behind the software that adapts to your needs. Visit foleyservices.com for additional resources and information. Thank you for listening.